legend and your first HLTV Hall of Fame inductee, Potti.
I wasn't like the most talented one.
See, I think you're selling yourself short there.
Get right. I would love to play with him. I don't think I will ever experience a feeling like that in my life again.
Thank you so much, HLTV, for hosting this amazing award. It's a great honor being here.
Sat down, I'm joined by Hall of Fame inductee, Potti. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you so much.
It has to be a cool feeling.
Yeah, it means the world to me. I mean, if there's any Hall of Fame you want to get inducted into, this is the one.
We were just laughing, it almost feels like it's yesterday.
I can't really picture this 25 years ago when I started Ninjas in Pyjamas in a basement.
It was such a long time ago. I competed now, but I remember like at one moment in life I decided to dedicate all my time to like CS. I remember like I had this crazy moment. I just like decided I'm gonna be the best in the world and I'm gonna start my own team. Everybody's laughing, they call you crazy, nobody believes you. Like now it's when people hear the name, obviously everybody heard of Ninjas in Pyjamas, but back then when I had the vision, nobody ever heard about Ninjas in Pyjamas. Obviously people are gonna laugh at you, and who would have thought like 20 years ago that you could make money out of playing video games, right? If I got $5 every time someone said that, I would be a billionaire right now.
It's actually 25 years ago I won the first ever World Championship in Counter-Strike, which is kind of amazing when I'm in a room full of these amazing people that some of them wasn't even born then, so.
I remember like, standing there, it's the first CPL.
Which one was that? Because there was the Babbages, right? Was the early one.
So the first one was the Babbages, and it was quite funny because CS was just a small side tournament. It was still like the World Championship in CS, but it was still a small side tournament. We actually lost a player that missed the flight.
That's right. You guys had to play with like a Quake player?
Yeah, so we had to play with a Quake player, and that's even, the story is even more insane because we actually won like the first official World Championship with a stand-in Quake player.
The grand final against X3, I specifically remember watching that, coming home from school and watching it like 3 times in a row with my brother.
If I pinpoint a moment in my career, that was like the moment, because I don't think I will ever experience a feeling like that like in my life again. Obviously I won tournaments and everything like that, but the hype surrounding it, and it came literally down to like the last round. They won the first map in overtime, and it was like, oh my God, not another overtime, because if it goes to like a second overtime, we're gonna lose. I was so sure, like people mentally has just like given up. The moment we won, like the excitement, the relief, and like everything at the same time, it was just amazing. Obviously, like winning a trophy is always amazing. It's a special feeling, but that one was like the special one.
You actually kind of started almost like a 2-decade-long Swedish reign of terror in Counter-Strike. Do you ever think about it in that context of like you kicked it off and it's just been carried forward?
Yeah, sometimes. I think that we were one of the first team that really took it like super serious when it came to like preparation, tactics, like the whole package. Obviously, we had like the skill, but we also knew how to practice and become better, and like not getting too comfortable with like winning, just like trying to achieve more and more. And you could say people growing up in Sweden, they looked at us, what we were doing, they're trying to do the same, and then they inhabited like a good way of playing, you could say.
You guys were the model, for sure, for a lot of teams back then. You were one of the first people I remember talking about it in terms of wanting to like really kind of minimize mistakes inside the game. As an individual player, that was kind of like your identity, was someone who just, I'm gonna make the right decision in every situation, which is unique for the time.
If you take any sport, a lot of people are like practicing on something that they think is fun or they're good at, but what you should practice is actually your weaknesses, right? And that's not that fun to practice on. And
No, it's not.
yeah, we learned a lot of those like small lessons, how to gain 1% here and there, because in the end of the day, like if you win a game or lose, it's about like 1 or 2 percentages.
And you guys were still thinking of those small margins even?
Yeah, definitely. I remember like small details when I yelled at my teammate, like we're not knifing anybody. It doesn't matter if we're like up 10-0 because each and every single round is important. And that's what's kept us, I think, winning, because if we were let one round here and there like go, then we would start losing games for sure.
Do you have any like rivalries from back then that you look back on like fondly, like teams or players that you just love beating?
Obviously, I loved like the 3D rivalry
Yeah.
and the X3 and everything like that. They always like brought the best out of us, and I love those kind of matchup. It was not a rivalry when it comes to like the personal chemistry or anything, just team-wise. Obviously, we had some rivalry in Sweden.
Westland, right? Was the big one?
Westland was the first one. Then we played a lot against eyeballers.
Sure.
They were like consistently second until they finally beat us, and that was one of the reasons. Like as I said, some of the teammates were kind of fat and happy back then.
Yeah.
Like we won everything. Do we need to practice that much? And as soon as you get that mentality, I'm telling you, it's over.
Well, yeah, but to be fair, like it's kind of hard, I guess, not to develop that mentality. I have just some of them written down, the big ones, which are like our majors back then. First CPL Winter 2001, that's the X3 match. First CPL Summer 2002. First CPL Summer 2003. First WCG 2003. First CPL Winter 2003. Then you got second at Summer 2004 as well.
And
like,
that's
and this is the major ones. There's
Yeah.
those small European CPLs and tournaments that you were kicking ass in as well. So the idea that you wouldn't build an ego is kind of, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
You just won everything for like 3 years.
sitting here right now, I'm kind of amazed myself that I could keep that up, because it's obviously it's hard. Like I always remember, like we were super focused. We wanted to win anything. We wanted to build like legacy. We wasn't there for like salary or money or prize pool. We were there for winning trophies.
You know, one story that I've told a bunch is, you know, at some of those CPLs, we always used to have like really quiet whispers of conversations of like, what if we can get this game big enough to have it in arenas? Assuming you guys had similar dreams back then.
Yeah, definitely. The first arena we played, I think it was, we went to South Korea.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of a big crew. I think it was like 7,000 people in the audience or something like that. It was a bit strange though, because there was a slight delay. So they told us like, calm down, because you can't show emotion. So we were playing on stage, but it was like a small
The
delay.
screen to the audience was delayed?
Yeah.
So they didn't want the player reactions
Yeah,
to ruin
exactly. So it was like really strange. And it's like, yeah, it was hard to like control the emotions. I was like, fuck it. Like when we won, like, fuck it, I can't pause.
Yeah, you're not counting 3 seconds and doing that. Do you think about it at all when you look at the scene today and how crazy it is? Like these big CPL majors that we have were like 2 a year. When you look at the calendar of today's games, do you think you could fit into it? If you got to go back to 20-year-old Potti and participate in today's calendar.
I think we would skip some tournaments if we were like on top, just to like make sure that obviously for some reason like don't spend all our tactical like enhancement or anything like that. But I would say the schedule it's quite cool. I mean, I would love playing a little bit more tournaments than we did like back in the days. But definitely sometimes I feel like sorry for the pros that it's like too hectical, and it takes time to like recharge the batteries and like make sure you're ready for the next tournament and stuff.
Do you miss it at all?
Of course.
Still to this day?
That's the hardest part when you stop playing as a pro, like the competitive part.
I mean, Sweden just had so much talent. You played with so many different teammates, and so many of them could probably be considered for a Hall of Fame position. You had, obviously, Heaton is the big one, but All, Fisker, Median, Hive, Spawn, Element. There's probably 20 more that I can't possibly name. That had to be cool, being in a Swedish scene that was just so damn good and active.
Definitely. And that's why I'm proud of competing with those guys, because to be honest, I wasn't like the most talented one or anything like that, but I think I had like the drive and the passion that always kept me competitive.
See, I think you're selling yourself short there. We have to focus on Heaton a little bit in the context of you guys, because it's not too often that we get like your guys' names are pretty much synonymous.
Yeah.
It actually feels weird to say one name without the other to a certain extent. What's it like being in that kind of a dynamic?
If you find someone that's as passionate as you, like you're having the same goals and you're like trying to get there, it's a perfect combination.
It's easy looking back now to like look at you two as players and say, the really simple one would be like, Potti's the brains, Heaton's the bronze. And it kind of was reflected in your play style, cerebral, mistake-free. He's known for the spraying, more kind of brawly, active style. Did it feel like you guys were kind of like puzzle pieces that just connected perfectly?
It was. I mean, and I think that's the beauty of the sport, because you need different like roles. I was never, or you could say, like the flashy player. Yeah. I was more focused on like winning, sometimes entry frags, and try to just like keep the edge going in the games. Like even though I could take a third guy out, maybe I just took a step back just to be able to have that mental edge on the game and so on. And then you have these guys that like are supposed to like multi-frag, and they get even better and they get like warmer. And we always said like if we have one player that's hot, we're going to win. If we had two, that's just luxury.
When you've been on all these lineups over the years, Heaton kind of contributes to this, but the camera always found Heaton. You were kind of the guy in the shadows a little bit, right? Like he was the loud one, the boisterous one.
Yeah.
In terms of like you as a player kind of got overshadowed, is there something that you always felt like you never got enough? I don't know if credit's the right word, but is there something about you as a player?
I was kind of like happy with that, you could say.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of that guy today. I like building businesses more than myself. I like being like in the background and building something great for everyone else, and then I'm kind of in the background, because sometimes, I mean, obviously you want to compete and you want to like put your name up there, win trophies and everything like that, but sometimes you might not want like all the fame that comes to it. Sometimes though I get triggered when someone says like he's better than you or that, and obviously it's so many years ago when I competed, but if someone says like he's better than you, blah blah, but I competed against the guy, I'm not gonna like name drop anything, and I always won. Like, how can you say the guy is better than me?
It's a flash of the old ego just comes up. Give me like a memory that you have from like the Counter-Strike days of some of your teammates. Is there one that like sticks out in particular? Not necessarily like tournament wins, but just an experience, the location.
I mean, as you said before, like you build a special bond when you're like traveling together, playing together, doing tactics, strategies. You become like a really close family. We had such a great time, and I remember I have to praise Fisker a lot because he did so much for the team. Obviously, he was a really talented guy. Yeah. He didn't get enough credit, but he was also like. You could say joy spreader. Yeah. Like he always brought joy to the team. Like if we were down or sad or angry or whatever, he always like cheered us up and kept us like together as a family. And that really like helped us improve on the server as well.
It's like the team goofball.
Yeah. So even though he did a lot of those stuffs, like we didn't even have, we was just like eating somewhere or anything like that, but it helped us a lot. You
kind of retired, I mean, relatively, probably felt abrupt at the time. Yeah. Shock with you guys kind of, with you stepping down when you were still winning tournaments and going deep. But you got to watch kind of the next generation of Swedish players, not just, the 10 to 15 guys and eyeballers in Team 9, NIP, SK, but then the next generation of Fnatic kind of started rising up, and Force and Get Right obviously are fellow inductees with you guys. Yeah. What were your thoughts on getting to watch their careers kind of begin after you stepped away?
I mean, we were spoiled in Sweden. Like we always had someone like ready to take over the throne, and a lot of teams like up there for grabs. And we had Fnatic and NIP then on top of like the leaderboards as well. So we were really spoiled on having so many good like Swedish players that kept us like competitive. With
Swedish Counter-Strike, like what was it, do you think? Has that always had a pretty tight-knit community? Do you think that's how you guys fostered so much talent?
I think we were lucky. We had a lot of local LANs quite early, which had decent prize pool. I think everybody wanted to show up on LAN. Back in the days, it was kind of a status thing that like, oh, you could be good on LAN, online, but come to LAN and let's see how good you really are.
I remember you guys had Inferno Online.
Yeah.
Which was like went down in like esports Counter-Strike legend. That spawned so much Swedish talent. It felt like I got to visit it a few years back for the first time ever in my life. I went to Stockholm. I was like, I have to go to Inferno Online. You guys had such a cool, rich, local scene.
I mean, we always had like the practice room somewhere. Inferno Online sponsored us when we really on top. We had everything set up as well. I mean, obviously you have to like do the work as well.
Yeah, to get that kind of stuff.
Nothing is given to you. You have to do the work.
If you look back on your career, is there any one player that you wish you had gotten a chance to play with?
I would say he's a close friend now. Unfortunately, Get Right burst into the scene a little bit afterwards. I would love to play with him and see what we could have done together.
That would have been a crazy partnership.
Yeah,
you guys would have had to fight for who's going to clutch though.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, through your Counter-Strike career at least, it's hard to identify a place where you might have made a wrong decision or mistakes because you just have trophy after trophy all the years you were competing.
I mean, I was so honored. I feel blessed to be one of the first inducted. It's just a dream come true, basically.
Congratulations again on the Hall of Fame. I'm so happy that you got to come out here for it. It's going to be fun.
Thank you so much.
I would love to dedicate this moment and the Hall of Fame award to my mom. Unfortunately, she's passed away a few years ago, but she always stood by my side, believed in my crazy ideas, and told me I could do anything. So this one is for you, Mom.